Corner like a pro. Learn how to corner your motorcycle like a Wera road racer. Training presentation by Steve's Racing Team. Our objectives will be to teach you about body position, motorcycle position, throttle speed, and line of vision.
Hi, let's learn a little bit about road racing. Remember, road racing takes years of practice. Never try to ride above your skill level. Every rider rides at his or her own risk.
Number 1. Safety first. Cornering like this needs to be done on a racetrack. Never attempt this on public streets. For more information, look up track days at places like the Nashville Superspeedway or kneedraggers.com. Number 2. Each rider must acquire safety gear such as a Snell-approved helmet that is not more than 2 years old. A full set of leathers must also be worn. They can be 1 or 2 pieces. A pair of thick leather gloves is also required. Racing type is required at most tracks of 4 mils and above. Riding boots are also required. Number 3. Bike safety is paramount. Please check with your track of choice for their specific bike safety specifications. Be prepared to remove all lights, turn signals, and kickstands. All nuts and bolts are to be wire tied. Number 4. Every bike and rider must pass safety inspections prior to taking to the track. And number 5. You must have nerves of steel for speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour if you can hang on. Alright, so I told you about some safety gear you need to have when cornering like this. If you don't already have it, you're going to have to go out and get some. Now I told you that one piece of the gear can only be 2 years old or less. Is it the boots that can only be 2 years old or less? You decide.
Like Mary said, wire tie all your nuts and bolts. Always think safety first. We don't want any nuts and bolts vibrating out of the motorcycle laying on the track causing wrecks. The next thing you need to do is buy a wire that's .032 in diameter, stainless steel. You want to drill all your nuts and bolts and you wire tie them as in the example shown in the picture.
Alright, now this should be an easy one. True or false? Brake lights are allowed on the track. You decide and mark your answer.
In this picture, this is an example of a proper way to wire tie nuts and bolts. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Notice in this picture how I have the wire tied in the bolts, always pulling to the right. Remember, keep this configuration in mind as you're wire tying nuts and bolts. Remember what I said about wire tying? I mean everything. This is an example of brake calipers being wire tied. Notice how I use safety clips because they will be taken on and off several times during a race.
So you know the nuts and bolts should be wire tied. The question is, should they be pulled to the right or to the left? You decide, true or false. Is it to the right? Here are a couple of great examples of cornering well. This is your goal.
This is not what you want to do. Believe me, this is an example of a high side, and it really hurts.
Now this is what you want to do. This is cornering like you're on rails. This is flying, and this is having fun.
Let's see what you remember. I want to see if I still have your attention. True or false? Road racing should always be done on roads. True or false? Please answer and then continue.
Alright, on to understanding the curve. Let's get started. There are three basic parts to a curve for proper alignment. They are the entrance, the apex, and the exit. Note that the diagram depicts a left-hand turn.
Notice on this diagram, these are the areas that we will be discussing. Entrance, apex, and exit.
The curve. Motorcycle and body position at entrance. As you come towards the entrance of the curve at a high rate of speed, you want to position the motorcycle to the far right side of the track. Grab a handful of brakes and gear down. Position your body to the left side of the motorcycle to counteract the G-forces. Begin leveling out the throttle while leaning out to your left. Steer handlebars to your right. This will make the bike counteract G-forces as well and lean left. Your line of vision should be to the far left side of the track towards the apex. See point A entering curve on the next slide.
This is me entering the curve. Notice the bike positioning, notice the body positioning as I'm leaning to the right, and my eye is focused at the apex of the corner.
The curve. Motorcycle and body positioning at apex. As you come to the apex of the curve, the motorcycle will be heading towards the far inside left area of the curve. Your body position is still leaning to the far left side of the motorcycle. The throttle is still leveled out and steady. No decline or incline in speed at this point in the curve. Your line of vision should be focused towards the far right side of the track. See point B apex of curve on the next slide.
This is why we call it knee dragging, man. Here I am at the apex of the curve, running about $1.20. The most important thing to remember at this point of the curve is to hold the throttle steady, which loads the suspension so that you get the best possible traction that you can when you're leaned so far over in the curve.
The curve. Motorcycle and body position at exit. As you come to the exit of the curve, the motorcycle will be heading to the far outside right of the curve. Begin standing the motorcycle upright. Your body will be going back to the center of the motorcycle. At this time, you are now moderately accelerating the throttle, which loads the suspension, making for better traction. Your line of vision is now focused past the curve and further down the track. You now begin shifting up the gears for speed and drive out of the curve. See point C exiting the curve on the next slide.
At the exit of the curve, at this position here, I have now shifted up one gear and I am moderately applying throttle to the motorcycle. If you apply too much throttle to the motorcycle, you will spin up the rear tire and it will cause you to high side. Remember the things I told you do not want to do. At this point of the curve, that's one thing you do not want to do. At this point of the track, I have exited the curve. I am now positioning my body back to the center of the motorcycle, and the motorcycle is 3/4 of the way up. At this point, you can give the bike all the gas you want and make a hard drive out of the curve.
Road racing and knee dragging can be a ton of fun, but it can also be very dangerous. So please remember not to ride above your skill level and always suit up. And you know, riding can be a blast at all skill levels as long as you ride safely. It takes time and patience to ride like this, and you may need to be a little low on common sense and fear and long on skill and nerve to be a knee dragger. Hey, thanks for your time and attention, and we want to thank you for participating in Steve's training video about cornering your bike. We hope we help you learn how to increase your speed, fun, and adrenaline, and we hope to see you at the track. Now go suit up and let's ride.